Have you ever asked about payment and felt like you did something wrong? Girl, same. I went to an event called Dress for Success. It was a full day workshop about finances for women. At the very beginning of the workshop, a women's studies professor went up and talked about women in business, oppression, the obstacles, the history, the social conditioning. When she finished, I put in my hand to ask a question that I knew would get everyone's attention. Maybe it's because I'm a bit of a shit disturber at heart, but kind of just told everyone I didn't want to be like them. I said, as a woman in business, I don't like thinking of myself as a woman in business, basically telling the whole crowd, I don't want to be like you. I went on to explain, I notice that when I ask for payment at the end of my gigs, I offend people. And I have not noticed that when men do the same thing. And the way the host reacted literally proved my point. She brushed me off entirely. She criticized the way I asked the question. When women ask for career-oriented things, they are socially penalized. You know what she did? She didn't like how I referred to the host and the professor as you guys. She didn't like that, and I get it. It's casual. Maybe I should have been more formal. Tell me what you think about that. But her reaction was that I bothered her. I bothered her about asking a career-oriented question, explaining the fact that I don't like thinking of myself as a woman because I bother people when I ask career-oriented questions. She ended up saying that she would get to my question later in the workshop. The thing that really bothers me about this whole thing is that the women's studies teacher sat there silently while the host interrupted, criticized me in front of everyone. I could see with her body language, she was nodding. She understood. She was validating me, and she looked like she had something to say. The host just went on to the next thing. He never did end up addressing my question. So she basically proved my point better than I ever could. Because according to scientific research, women are socially penalized for making direct professional inquiries. So the host did exactly that in front of everyone in real time. But what happened next is literally something so magical. Almost every woman in that room came up to me during the break, gave me their advice, and shared the fact that their experiences were just like mine. Here's the piece of advice one woman that was sitting right in front of me gave me, is these tools were so good, and I feel like my life would have been so much easier had I had these tools when I was younger. She recommended me a book called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. I listened to that audiobook 3, 4, 5 times. There was so much good information, and it led me to joining some negotiation clubs because that's what it's about, negotiation. Eventually, someone I knew made fun of me for listening to the one book over and over and over again, so I figured it would be time to look up a new negotiation book because I was super on that. This time, I figured maybe I should do something specifically for women in negotiation, which brings full circle to how this all started. I ended up finding a woman named Catherine Valentine, who is a female researcher on the subject, and her stuff is amazing, her findings. But she approaches her findings as an employee, someone who works in a corporate office, has a boss, women who need to get a yes no matter what. If you're like me and you're a founder, independent contractor, freelancer, and we're about to see a huge shift in job security, we're about to see a lot more people thinking about their own businesses and how to start, particularly half the population, which are women. Us business owners, we don't need to get a yes from anyone. We got options. And that's where walk, probe, and negotiate came from. If the client isn't right, then we walk. If we're not quite sure yet, we probe. And if everything aligns, negotiate from strength. You cannot grow and scale your business if you keep saying yes to the wrong people. Comment free. Comment free. And I'll send you a free AI tool that tells you in 2 minutes exactly what to do with your next client.